Are you stressed and filled with anxiety like I am? Maybe in a bit of pain from that car accident you had a few years ago? Well, the sponsor of today's episode, Hempville CBD, has us covered. They have the highest quality products created by chemists and doctors. Hempville carries everything from CBD to THC dispensary grade without those despicable dispensary prices. Order your Delta 8, 9 edibles and vapes along with the THCA flower and get free shipping when you spend $50 or more at hempvillecbd.com. Check out the link in the description for more details.
Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $5 tier will grant the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience. All around you. And welcome back to another episode of the Filmistines. Thank you for joining us today. I am joined today by my trafficking friend, Lucy.
I don't know if I'm okay with that.
You can join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes of the Filmistines. Some recent episodes include Saw X, Five Nights at Freddy's, The Exorcist, Believer, When Evil Lurks, and The Passion of the Christ. What is a Christ? Find out in that episode. But today we are discussing the most controversial film of 2023, probably Sound of Freedom, directed by Alejandro Monteverde. So I just want to ask off the top, what did you know about this movie going into it? Because it's a little bit of a loud movie in the public zeitgeist, right?
Yep.
It reached all ears.
Yeah, this movie was very recommended by different people that would go see it at movie theaters and would just, tell me to go watch it, and how moving movie it was, and how I was gonna cry, and very quick synopsis of it's a movie about kidnapping children, and that was it. That was all I heard about it, and just how much I was going to cry. But that was all I really knew about it. I didn't read anything about it beforehand. I didn't see the trailer. I didn't really see much besides a lot of family members seeing it.
Yeah, I only really saw the poster. I did, heard about it from folks, but didn't really get a real grasp on what it is, other than that it involves child trafficking. And that's inherently a tough topic to tackle cinematically, because there's not any character in child trafficking.
Yeah, and it's not like you can show a lot of the bad, negative stuff that goes along with child trafficking.
Yeah.
Like you can with like environmental films or something.
Or just murder in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of children, like we kind of talked about in our When Evil Lurks episode. Go check that out at Patreon. Children are typically off limits for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And even in kind of absurd graphic horror. But this is much more grounded and, I guess, inspired by some real events, but definitely, I guess, a problem that we have to deal with as a society across the world. How did you feel about this movie? It is kind of weird as far as like narrative goes, as far as the cinematic experience goes.
Yeah, it's a very off. I mean, I think you said it very well. It's just the topic that is told to you. You can't express it very well cinematically. So it leads to a movie being off when you're trying to include everything about this world, this topic. You're trying to include all the characters from the American side to the whatever other country you're trying to mention here, because, it's these children are being trafficked in other countries, to other countries, or from other countries. So
Yeah.
it's a lot here, and it's a big
The scope kind of blows up when you introduce a topic like this.
Yeah.
And we've talked about before, when you have any kind of sizable scope, you start to lose focus.
Right.
And they tried to focus a little bit on this film with our hero here, but it's balanced in such a way that we don't have any characterization within this character. Just a little bit of humanity with him crying close up, and and empathizing with the situation and going out of his, and being the hero and stuff. It's a very fun angle in characters, but we sacrifice a lot in the messaging of this movie. We sacrifice a lot of cinematic kind of heft that's needed to make a movie successful for the messaging of the movie. And so I think the messaging is actually harmed in that way. Because normally you would see this kind of movie bounce between the captive and the hero, captive and hero, and we're seeing the struggle, and we're wondering if the hero is gonna be a hero, right? They're gonna defeat the bad guys, and while at the same time we're kind of with the people who are captive, seeing their struggle. But here we totally neglect the captured side, not entirely, but almost in its entirety. Maybe because we're afraid of what and what not to show on TV, or on the screen. But I feel like you gotta go the extra mile to make it hit home cinematically, I guess, just kind of out of, taking it away from the fact that it's inspired by true events, inspired by the true phenomenon of just the situation that these kids all across the world find themselves in. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is described on Wiki as a crime thriller film. So, very bad guy, good cop kind of film. And it just doesn't do it in a way that builds the suspense. It doesn't do it in a way that I'm desperate to find the missing. I mean, it's a child, of course. The theme overall is very important. Yes, we get that. But it didn't do the message justice.
Yeah, it doesn't serve the movie.
Yeah, I need to feel something for this little girl and the little boy and all the other millions of little girls and little boys.
It would help if our hero had some fucking obstacles, but he gets his way. Maybe he does in real life. Tim Ballard, is that his name?
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a pro at cracking down on these guys, but he wins everything. Of course, he didn't, and at one point in the movie, he doesn't find the specific girl that he's looking for. He only saves 100 other little kids. And it doesn't feel like that's a win to him.
Yeah.
Which takes away some of his humanity.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know, what is this obsession with this particular little girl? It's coming off weird in a movie where you shouldn't be having any weird feeling towards children.
Yeah, like, I didn't know you were obsessed with just finding this one specific girl. I thought you were the hero here. I thought you wanted to save anyone and everyone. So yeah, that did come off as weird. Yeah, this movie was very passable. It was just almost serviceable.
Harmless. It should have gone really hard. I feel like we should have had some pretty gnarly child abuse scenes.
I don't even know if that would have helped it. There were just a lot of scenes in here that were maybe related, but not necessary. Like a lot of his home life scenes.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't care for those. Your wife didn't stand out in a way that made me care for her. Your kids didn't either. All we need to know is that you have a wife and kids. And we see that with the picture on your desk. That would have shaved off some minutes.
Yeah, and we don't get the paternal relationship to a high enough to any degree to make that worthwhile. Yeah. The picture serves the situation, and the crying, it works. It's fine, but we don't need to waste time on your life, on your family life.
Yeah, and there was no, I mean, there was no conflict with his wife. She was all for everything. Like you said, this dude didn't have any obstacles. She's like, yeah, whatever you want to do, go follow your dreams. No, sir. Where the fuck are you going for however long? How am I going to pay the bills? You're quitting your job and you're almost getting pensioned. You can't hold off for 4 months. And then this is a great time for the character to be very adamant about his mission about saving the kids. I mean, kind of a missed opportunity. Not that we needed it, but that would have built some character to both him and his wife.
Totally.
But she was like, oh yeah, go. Whatever you need, I'll support you. I'm sorry, you have like, it looks like 7 kids. I don't know how many kids you have. He can't.
I guess it's worth bringing up at the very beginning and fairness of the film, because it's a pretty strong opening.
Yeah.
It's actually incredibly strong relative to the rest of the film, where we see the dad with his 2 kids in Honduras, and, you know, some lady comes to the door, is like, oh, this, you know, she's beautiful, we need her for whatever commercial movie thing or whatever, and, you know, we want him too, we want the little boy, you know, he's perfect too. And so she takes him, or he takes them, and then he's like, you know, you gotta come back at this time, you know, no parents allowed. The intro, I guess it's the false intro. I don't know you'd call that in a movie like this, because it's in a horror movie, it's a false introduction, because usually you get that first killing scene that's kind of irrelevant to the rest of the movie, but this still kind of serves that purpose. But it's relevant. But it just kind of sucks that the best performative piece is in the first 5 minutes of the whole movie, when the dad, and the best shot of the whole movie, I think, is in the first 5 or so minutes, maybe 10, where the dad goes to pick the kids up and he's like wigging out, and the camera moves from top to bottom of the building, the apartment or whatever. He runs, you know, down one of the roads, and he's looking and stuff, and he's just like, he doesn't get very far before he just fucking stops, because he's just like, what can I do?
Yep.
Really powerful.
Yep.
And it's, I don't know, that's the hard part, you know, getting these performative pieces out, and then kind of having these gonzo voyeuristic kind of perspectives on the kids and different emotions from different people is all you really need in this movie. But we don't get any of that. We get like one little instance of the kids being captive, and it being like really gross and stuff, and like just fucked up when they're in that freight box.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that beginning part?
Yeah, that was awesome. I think they shot that very well, and I didn't know what movie we were watching. You just turn them on, and I'm there for it. So I had no idea where this movie was going. And I'm just like, oh, that's so nice. This dad's going to be so supportive of his child's career. You know, he dressed up for it. He's taking his kid. And then we have which I love this part. I thought it was shot very well when they start taking pictures of the kids. And you're just kind of happy for them that they're getting this opportunity. And then it starts getting weird. She starts unbuttoning one shirt. And then she starts ruffling their hair. She starts making one of the little girls wear lipstick and just kind of, you know, do a little bit more seductive poses. And you're like, wait a minute, what are they doing here? And then it just keeps running with the dad coming. They're gone. He's knocking everywhere. He's going crazy. And I mean, it was awesome. You're there for it. That whole entire moment. You're in suspense.
I mean, I can't think of a better introduction to this movie. And then they
go and capture the bad guy at his house. And then they take him to the prison.
And then they introduced him, and
I don't think they ever introduced him. I don't get any character from him. I had no idea what he was saying half the time. And his introduction was super awkward. Because I guess his introduction was when him and his partner are in the car, and he asks him, like, doesn't this make you feel good? We captured, I don't know how many hundreds of child predators this month or year, or whatever numbers they threw out. And he was like, no, it doesn't make me feel good. Where are the children? where have you seen any of the children? Did we save any of them? Huh? And I don't know. That part felt kind of awkward to me.
Yeah, Tim was like, it's not our job. And then he starts talking to the guy who looks like
What's not their job?
saving children.
Tim says that to the other guy?
Yeah, in the beginning when they're in the car.
Like sarcastically?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
And then he talks to the creepy Howard Wolowitz knockoff.
Yeah.
And I guess I took that as the intro to Tim's character because we see that he'll go to any level to I guess get more information out of someone. And so you see his grittiness, and then that's the only thing that carries his whole character through the whole movie.
Okay. Yeah. This is our first glimpse of the start of his obsession with saving at least one kid, even if it means having to pretend to be a pedophile himself. And then that's it. Yeah.
So I guess the intro to Tim's perspective is one of, if not the only riskier, like kind of extreme situations we get, because we actually see a pedophile doing his pedophile things on the computer.
Yeah.
With the creepy Howard Wolowitz knockoff. It might be him. I don't even know. It's the same actor. I have no idea.
No way is that him. God
I hope
damn.
not. But it's cool. It only adds to the stage of this. These kids got kidnapped. The dad had that response. It's pretty powerful. And then we move into another like really sensitive, situation where we have these cops that are about to bust this motherfucker, and they do, and it's it's shot pretty okay, and it's very clear what's happening. We have the motive and everything. They're just police.
Yeah.
And then we get that we take it that one step further, which is just crazy because we have this like complete introduction of all just the movie where we see Tim communicate and befriend the creepy dude and trick the creepy dude into thinking Tim is one of the pedos. And I think it's a really solid introduction across the board as far as setting the stage for the whole movie. What do you think?
I do think it's a strong introduction, but just something about our main character I don't like. I don't like his acting.
I agree. It feels like he seems like the kind of person who like looks in the mirror and changes his face and like self-congratulates this small nuance in the small changes in his face. I don't know. It's like there's like a little bit of an ego thing that's coming across, and I'm not there for it. I do like that it seems like he can just cry. That's cool, but all the great actors can do that.
You're not special.
I don't get what's up with the close-ups and the front close-ups, and I guess it's worth bringing up now because it's just inevitable. I think this film is, I guess like I said in When Evil Lurks, a very manipulative film in the wrong way, because I think manipulation can go one of two ways. It can be a good, try to get you in that mode of manipulation, or the exploitive kind of manipulation and trying to take advantage of the things you're sensitive to, like child abuse and other people crying and things like that, right? And I think our main actor, is aware of his ability to tap in, I guess, to some people, or he thinks he is. And so, along with our director and cinematographer, because this similar thing happens in The Passion of the Christ, which suffers from some of the same problems with, I think, trying to force an emotion out of you when they haven't earned anything.
Yeah.
And it's like really obnoxious in both movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'd use the word manipulation, but definitely use the word exaggerated. It's almost like he's overacting.
Yeah, and then I guess you got to remember the essence of acting is just trying to force an echo between you and the actor and the audience. And so I feel like it is manipulating, right? You feel me? And then the presence of the abuse, presence of children undergoing the abuse, the presence of a hero, in quotes, can kind of put people on their toes and their emotions. There's not, I guess I want to ask, like, what's earned in this movie? Because if it's not earned, it's forced, right?
Yeah. I think the only thing earned in this movie is the dad getting his kids back.
And it's a nice scene too. Both of them.
Yeah.
It's they're the best parts of the movie.
Yep,
and he's
for
on
sure.
screen for like maybe 5 minutes. You know, just the dad.
Because our main guy here, Tim, he doesn't earn catching the bad guy. He doesn't even care. You know, the first bad guy, the first Howard looking dude, he doesn't earn even, you know, rescuing Manuel because, again, he doesn't care. And it's not like he's super focused on the big picture, and that's why he doesn't care about this one kid. Yet, I don't think our main guy earns any of his successes. They're handed to him. I'm not cheering for him. I'm not celebrating with him.
Yeah, it seems like all of his resources are at his fingertips, and so it's surprisingly easy to just herd these people and these kids into where you want them.
Yeah, and he's not even this like cocky detective cop person. That he's so smart and he's so logical that it makes sense for everything to be at his fingertips.
And it might be part of the real Tim Ballard's thing. Like it's easy. Like we just need to go out there and do it. But that's how it comes across. It's easy. Let's just go get them.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like. And maybe that's part of the intention, but it comes across in the movie very. We don't really know how to make a story about this, so we're just gonna basically give you, you know, the ABC with no narrative when it feels like we should almost have a narrator.
Yeah.
Is that the whole time it felt like, not the whole time, but pretty much after rescuing Manuel, it feels like we introduced this new way of them telling this story, and that we were going to have Tim talk over all the action that was happening on screen for the rest of the movie, basically.
Yeah. He's telling you what's going on. He's telling you how you should feel, but there's no visual representation of the emotions. There's nothing on screen that leads you to making you feel a certain way.
Yeah. Other than through manipulative, exploitive, you know, visuals of kids being held captive, right?
And even that doesn't do a great job.
No, they should have done what every other crime thriller does, and we see a heaping, you know, amount of perspective from the kids. We should have seen the kids abused in some ways. I'm not, you know, saying that we need to see the craziest of crazy stuff, but we should have spent more time with the kids.
Yeah. Or if you were going to focus on the main character here, Tim, do something similar to, you know, Seven, where our main focus is on Brad Pitt's character and his partner and their mission to, you know, catch the bad guy. We don't get a lot of the bad guy.
Yeah, that would embrace the secrecy, embrace the mysteriousness of this worldwide spread organization. Like, how can they be so secret? You know, make it frustrating that why don't you know more about this?
Yeah.
Make it how, you know, it comes across when you read about it. If 300,000 kids get abducted in the United States get abducted alone every single year, how is this not the biggest problem across the entire world? Like, how are we not all concerned about this? Make it frustrating like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come across that way at all.
No, it seems like it's so easy that no one's doing anything about it.
Yeah. It's a frustrating movie to watch, I guess, in that way, because it feels like there is potential, especially in just how it's made. Like, it's super highly produced, and it's pretty well shot. It's a little sterile in how it's shot. I wish there was a little more filth. It's kind of a little clean. Even when he rescues Rocio, it's a little too clean in that rogue area of Cambodia. And the kumbaya of, you know, the bad guys singing all and drinking and stuff, and when our hero rescues Rocio in the hut or house thing, I was just thinking the whole time, that's a place where fucking snakes crawling at night. I was like, that would suck. But it was just not. And I know a lot of this film was filmed in Cambodia, so what am I saying? Did I say Cambodia earlier?
I think you did.
I meant to. A lot of this film was filmed in Colombia.
Okay.
And So you'd feel like, you think it'd be pretty easy to, I mean, maybe it is just kept clean like that, but it just wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't selling it for me at all. It was just like, this is, I don't know, it wasn't gross enough. Like, it should have been, it's thematically gross. We should have a little bit more grossness within what people are saying, maybe how the characters look and stuff. And I'm the first to bitch, especially in, generic movies, video games and stuff. Bad guys always look rough and tough and gross and stuff and everything. But like, but the Colombian guys on, the outskirts of, southern Colombia, or that town or whatever, they're outside of city limits and stuff. They may not have resources to stay bathed and everything, right? They look like they were off the grid.
Yeah, they did.
So like, or at least geographically they did, but they didn't really. They were kind of clean shaven and stuff, and like, yeah, they look rough and tough in the face and everything, but that's just because they're a bunch of dudes, That's the easy part. You got it, but they don't. I don't know. It aesthetically was totally off for me, and the girls didn't look that abused. Maybe they treated their little girls a little better, but I don't know. The girls did not look out of shape in that way. I feel like because I think when they were in the freight container, there was a dead girl or dead kid laying there.
I think so, because she stayed there when they lined them up.
And if she wasn't dead, she should have been dead, and we should have got a close up on her. They should have heightened up that sense of smell when that guy opened the door. It was just like real brief. It was just like, what? I mean, that's a good brief start, but we need to embrace the grossness of this. They just got shipped across wherever, I guess Honduras to Colombia, right?
I think so.
Like, there's like a necessary element of grossness that we need there, just from staying in that container. And that would have been a great time for us to get a perspective on the hopelessness from the kids, especially because that's when Rocio and Manuel were the last time seen together.
Yep.
That they were just together. So it's just like, what? This is so frustrating. Like, there's actually a little bit of story here as far as the two main kids going from being captured to being rescued. Like, that's the story. Our hero he's just a cop who has resources. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's a frustrating movie.
Yeah.
Because I almost feel guilty that I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
definitely.
Like, and that's like proxy manipulation. That's not okay, It's not good. It's not bad either, but it's not, when you have this, hand of cards, the money to get this off the ground, the talent to get this off the ground. Like, it's shot really well. Decent actors, right? I don't love our main actor's acting style, but he's fine at the end of the day. He's not a bad actor. He's very specific, right?
I don't like his acting.
Yeah, I don't think I do either, but I don't think I think that might be an us problem.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But does any of this make sense? What do you tell me something?
Yeah, I agree with you that this movie should have been a lot dirtier, a lot more savage. And even with some of the psychological consequences of what these children have been through, we didn't get enough of that. When Manuel got rescued, he was very slightly scared of Tim for just a second, and then Tim talked to him with his very bad Spanish, and now the kid trusts him. We need more. I guess I've never been kidnapped, so I wouldn't know how to react in a situation of being rescued after going through that trauma. But it just seemed like it should have been more. It should have been like this would have been a moment where it's okay to exaggerate it a little bit, so it can come across, your message can come across on what has been done to these children. And all the little girls that got rescued at that big party, they should have been more traumatized. But no, here they are singing a song and clapping and dancing after they got rescued. Some of them weren't. Some of them were off by themselves, staring off into the ocean or wherever they were staring off into. But a lot of these girls didn't look like they were hurt and didn't act like they were hurt. And then Rocio at the end, I think for just, a brief second when she was being rescued, she was scared of Tim, like right in the hut, before the other guy came. And after that, like, she was okay. You know, she wasn't mad at her dad. She wasn't scared of her dad or any other man that approached her, or women. I mean, Giselle, the girl,
Yeah.
she's very guilty here too. Like, these kids need to have trust issues, and they didn't.
I mean, she's the most guilty.
Yes, for sure.
She started this.
So we needed a lot of that, a lot of the consequences too, to these actions.
Yeah, they almost in its entirety, with the exception of the dad, had a hard time capturing any sense of emotion.
Yeah.
And I would even say the next better performance was the creep from the very beginning. His, kind of, I mean, he was more scared of Tim at the very beginning than any of the children who were stolen at any other point in the movie. There were we had several little scenes with him not, having to kind of work with his emotions while talking to Tim, like not knowing to trust him, afraid of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Is he on my side? Is he one of us? No, he's not. Yes, he is. Like, there was much more of a complicated thing going on with that side creepy character, the catalyst, the MacGuffin to get all of this going.
Yep.
And so it felt like something they managed to get it out of someone. Someone knows how to write a character, even the smallest character, but it couldn't write it where it mattered. I don't understand what the issue was.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, because this film should have made me cry. It should have tugged at my heartstrings.
Yeah, you're the easiest person to make cry, period, but especially in movies.
Yes, for sure. And just the idea of children getting kidnapped, I'm sorry, that's not enough.
No, and that's another reason that makes me feel like it's kind of, I mean, I want to say just exploitive film. Not even like 1 degree past manipulative, just totally trying to tug on that. Oh, this is a real phenomenon that happens amongst us. Isn't that sad? Just like, well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to cry about it. I can't do anything about it. I don't have Tim's billions of dollars of resources, right? I don't have the experience and know-how. Like, I can't, okay?
Yeah, I guess that's where I'm stuck on, because I don't see any of the manipulation or any of the propaganda or whatever this film claims to be, or what people are claiming this film to be.
Yeah, I don't know what the propagandistic kind of thing is. I don't know because people are trying to align this movie with some kind of evangelist kind of God-fearing, God-driven thing. What is that about?
Yeah, I guess it's just from that one line, one scene where he says, God's children are not for sale.
Who says that?
Or Tim.
Yeah, and I guess our main side character, guy with the cigar, he meets in Colombia.
Yeah, the vampire. That's what Wiki calls him.
Oh, that's right, the vampire. I forgot. They said that like one time, I think.
Yeah.
At the very end. He talks about how he hooked up with like a 14-year-old. He didn't know at the time or whatever, and then he just kind of sees an emptiness in her and everything, and he basically sees God within her, and that's, I guess, the other God thing we get.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's fine for these men to be people of God. That most of the world are people of God in some capacity. Most people are religious in the world. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. I don't know. That's not really, doesn't sound like Christian propaganda to me.
No, of course not. Then any film that mentions God is a Christian propaganda film, if you're gonna look at it that way.
Yeah, you could even argue that this maybe is a film that teaches you how to start a organization to get a bunch of children on an island and start a business that way, because they give you a nice little blueprint of how to do that.
So stupid. Yeah, but I don't understand the manipulation.
Yeah, well, I guess in that sense, those are two separate points in my mind.
What?
two different types of manipulation. The manipulation and propaganda that people are thinking this movie is about is not the manipulation I'm talking about. I'm talking exclusively cinematic manipulation.
Well, they didn't do a good job cinematically manipulating
Yes,
your
and
audience.
and that's one reason I feel confident in saying it, because it didn't have any effect on me, so I could see right through it.
Yeah, I guess. Just because of the reception. And the people who told me, oh my God, you're gonna cry.
I guess that helps support my case.
And that definitely supports your case. Because if everybody felt similar to how we feel, then no, they didn't. But, oh my gosh, people are just gushing on this film and the message and how awesome it is and whatnot, besides the other conspiracy shit.
Yeah, I don't really know about the other conspiracy stuff. I guess one reason this movie might be being attacked in the way it is because of our main actor, Jim Caviezel. I don't know. But he has some kind of attachment and the QAnon or wherever the hell it is, I'm not even sure.
Yep.
But that's I guess in today's world, that's all you need is two things to be mentioned in the same sentence for there to be any kind of proxy between. So I guess he's a baby killing racist whatever. So so he's treated unfairly as a human being.
Poor guy.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to the day where you could agree with someone you generally disagree, but they make good points. You know, that's where the old phrase, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, no matter how you feel about any politician or your mother or whatever, they're right occasionally. You're going to agree with them occasionally, no matter what they do in their free time, right? That's just, so I don't know why. Do any of these people know Jim? I don't know. The movie's not that bad or that good, one way or the other. It's very safe.
I don't even think it's safe. There's just so much missing from our main character.
Hey, I got it. It's child protected. like the shit over the outlet and stuff.
Yeah, or like the thing that blocks the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I just think that our main character did such a bad job, and most of the movie was on him. This isn't like a Saw movie where you have the detective and the victims or the bad guy or whatever. And even if the detective kind of sucks, that's okay because we still have enough from John Kramer or from the games themselves or the victims. We're still getting other things.
And you know there's more to come because they have so much setup in movies like that. In Saw, there's no setup here.
Yeah, I guess there's not any setup here in this movie whatsoever either. We don't have any struggles. What does Tim struggle with? Not finding Rocio?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right.
That's not
a struggle.
It's not an obstacle.
That's not an obstacle, exactly.
At least cinematically, it's just not. I'm not gonna say that this isn't a story to be told cinematically. Of course, there are stories that can and cannot be told cinematically. We are very familiar with this. Just like there's a medium for stories. Like some stories are best told in specific mediums, right? This is maybe a story that's just not told in any other place other than through maybe a documentary lens. Because not to say that this is the end all be all of child trafficking movies. There might be a better one, I don't know, but it does. That scope thing is a big challenge, and they sacrificed the entirety of storytelling for it.
I mean, yeah, but if you can make something like Cocaine Bear that's also based off a true story be semi-decent.
Yeah, but the scope there is really tiny.
Then make your scope here tinier.
Yeah, focus it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I think only done by focusing in on the kids in a large capacity.
Because this really is about the kids.
Not
about Captain America here.
You want to get emotion out of someone? Get a close-up of Rocio being abused.
I don't know, man, because even in The Passion of the Christ, he's getting abused. And there's no emotion there for me either. I should have been bawling there too. It's just the whole movie has to build you up. Where's the sad ass soundtrack?
Oh yeah. Yeah, where is our sad soundtrack?
Where's our sad dialogue? Where's the, Rocio saying something sad as fuck?
Yeah, Rosie, did she even say anything?
I think she said something to Giselle in the beginning. I don't know. She said something to her little brother.
It's weird. It's so weird. It's so frustrating because it's not. Does it come across as Tim is a bigger deal than
Yes.
the situation?
Yes. This is his movie. This is a movie about him. It shouldn't have been called Sound of Freedom. It should have been called The Rescuer. The Adventure of Tim Ballard.
The Ballad of Tim Ballard. Yeah, that's why is this movie. Now, I will say the general public, like overall online, seems to be pretty mid on the film, like on Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd and everything, where we got, hundreds of thousands of people kind of weighing in on it. It looks like it's pretty what you'd expect because, it's high production. It's got some high-ish caliber performances, whether you like them or not. It's got the crime drama thing. It's kind of, it floats around where you'd expect that low 3.0 to high 2.0 area.
Wow, okay. Those weren't the numbers I was seeing, but I wasn't checking.
There are certain corners that inflate this movie to the 10s out of 10s, 5 out of 5s. We all know the reason I love Letterboxd the most is the bar graph.
Yeah.
Can't hide from the bar graph.
That's true.
The 5s are inflated. The 5 out of 5s are inflated. And so it just goes to show you that there's this weird feeling towards the movie. And I see through that, of course, right? Because
Like a feeling?
I have lack of feeling. And my pattern recognition kind of sensories go off when it's not smooth. So it's a weird, loud vocal minority. I guess it's obvious, right? If anyone's being loud about anything, it's most likely a loud vocal minority, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Because of the people in real life I know that are saying.
That's true. That's a good point. I forget. That's true.
So it's weird.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I was reading online that there was this religious radio station. So take that as you will. It wasn't actually named. It just said religious radio station.
It might have been named that.
That said, just as people are being trafficked, America is also suffering from a genocide of abortion.
I've heard stuff like that before.
So it's just weird.
Yeah, that's a weird forced connection.
It's like, did you miss the message here? Because there's no missing the message. They didn't do a good job giving this message across in the film, but the message is there. There's children being trafficked.
Or even better so, child trafficking is bad.
Sure, it is bad. Is that their message? I don't know. Americans are heroes. That's the message.
It was kind of weird that that little quoted statistic was like 800 children go missing every single day in the United States. I was just like, that was weirdly targeted towards the United States when this movie pretty much exclusively takes place in Colombia and the kids are abducted from Honduras. So that was weird, right?
That was very weird. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. No, man, this movie has pacing issues. It has acting issues. It has character development issues. The dialogue sucks. The soundtrack sucks.
The relationship sucks.
Everything sucks about this. Even our focus sucks.
Except the dad.
Except the dad. In some scenes, the kids. But they're kids. That's not hard to fuck up. And, our predator there. Our child predator.
Yeah, I liked his minor performance much better than our main character.
Yeah. Which is funny because a lot of the pedophiles...
Minor. Oh my god, I said minor. Minor as in kid. And he's a child abuser. That's the worst pun I could have ever fucking said in my life.
That's funny.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that it's funny because how good did our child predators look? They looked like fucking child predators. They looked like pedophiles. That was hilarious.
That's fair, especially that one guy with the mustache. I liked.
Yes.
He did. I was like, man, this guy is.
He for sure is one.
He's one. He's one, and I hate to judge a book by their cover, but damn, they did a pretty decent job finding some creepy looking dudes.
They did do a very decent job. I mean, poor. Can you imagine the actors? Like, what a mixed bag of feeling.
Yeah, or just people who kind of look like that, you know?
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad for them.
Yeah.
That there's this kind of pre-notion of like what a pedophile looks like.
Because when they came on screen, you could not mistake them, man. So good job there, I guess.
Yeah, good job there. And I mean, just the production in general it's pretty top notch. It's not super thoughtful, but it falls a little flat in its sterileness, and that's in a lot of movies though, I guess. Kind of a trend.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, this was a movie. This was a movie. It's a little more focused, so it's maybe not a fair 1-to-1. But remember that Korean film we watched? I think it's called Silenced, where this private school they hire this new teacher, and this teacher kind of stumbles into this knowing of like the PE teacher and the principal or something like that raping some of the kids.
Oh yeah.
Which is I mean, that's, you want to see an effective, doesn't really have any child trafficking points, but as far as abusing children, you want to see an effective movie to make you fucking hate abusers, and kind of a true call to action. I mean, I guess that's one thing we kind of missed, was I feel like this movie was almost trying to instill some kind of heroism in you for some kind of call of action that just did not come across, I think, for most people.
Well, I didn't think they were going there.
But
how could you not go there? But
yeah, but in that movie, I think called Silenced, the nuances put the call in action in you,
Yeah.
Not the main character, not the situation, but just the grossness of it. And that's a beautifully made film.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
So go check that out. I think it's called Silenced. But yeah, man, thank you for watching this film with me. It long time coming. I wanted to see this, because it was loudly spoken about.
Yeah.
Do you have a budget guess for me?
My budget guess is 50 million.
50 million. Damn. Okay.
So I guess now that you said it like that,
that's a lot of money. That's
makes me think I'm not correct.
Well, why 50 million?
Just because of the amount of traveling we did, the amount of sets they probably had to do, the amount of people we had to deal with. I mean, we're involving boats, we're involving a lot of things.
Yeah.
So.
Totally.
And cinematically, it looked a little highly produced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and it was long. I don't know how long it was, or if I just felt like it was long. But...
no, it was long.
Okay.
It was about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So.
God damn, no wonder.
Yeah. It drug on a while. I don't love the hero complex thing for 2 hours, but it says here it was 14.5 million.
Whoa.
So made really oh my god, I'm impressed by that. If there's something to be impressed about this film, it's how they spent that money.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
And of course it went on to do great because of its public zeitgeistness, right? It made $242 million.
Wow.
So over 10 times its budget.
Wait. Didn't you say that you heard that at the end of the movie, at the movie theaters, they had a QR code to scan to donate?
Yeah. I meant to go back on the video we watched to see if it was there,
mm-hmm.
the comp we watched, but I just didn't. So I was wondering if that was just part of the film. But it like said something about being endorsed, sponsored by, something like that, by Homeland Security, and the main actor, Jim, whatever his name is, Jim C, said what he like pulled out the chair and sat on it with his hands on the back of it and was like, and you can save a child today by donating some money.
So does that donated money go into the 242 million?
No, but there is some funny controversy around the so I don't know if that's true, first of all, Jim doing that. But I also heard that there was a another QR code or something where you could buy a ticket. I think only some theaters were doing this or whatever, where you could buy a ticket through the QR code to pass it on to someone so they could go see it for free. And so, and I was reading online, who fucking knows what the shit's true, right?
That's true.
But some people were going to the theaters to see it, and when they were in, like when they were picking their seats and stuff, all of them were grayed out except, a couple, and then they would go, they went in there, and then they were the only one in the theaters, implying that someone had bought those tickets already, and that people just didn't show up. And so maybe a bunch of people are going to buy tickets so people can go see it for free, and people are not going. Or B, the theater is lying about the tickets being sold. Like maybe they're trying to snuff out people seeing this film, which I can guarantee you is not true. Because theaters are not in a healthy place, and they're going to take all the money they can.
That's true.
They're not going to hide seats from people.
Yep.
So,
interesting.
Yeah, so I guess maybe it looks like people probably, paid more for their time seeing it, because they bought multiple tickets for people who didn't go. But I mean, it's very cool to see a film make that kind of money. All right, man. Well, thank you for talking about this film with me. Sound of Freedom.
You're welcome. Thank you for making me watch this.
And this is the Sound of Freedom, right here.
Silence.
And thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Filmsteins. Remember, you can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for brand new episodes on all of the platforms, especially Patreon at patreon.com. Come by. Here, I'll put up a QR code right here. All right, you guys see it? But until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmsteins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins, and follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmsteins signing off.